Hey everybody, Gabe Jenkins coming back to you. Hope you're having a great day coming from the College and Career Accelerator, CCA, accelerating your future. Hope you're doing well. Um, we have gone through, I don't even know, a large number of parts already, seven, eight parts. And everything we've done so far has been built on the same kind of core skills, which are selecting a plane, making a two-dimensional sketch, making sure it's a closed profile, and then extruding that two-dimensional profile into a three-dimensional solid shape within SolidWorks. And we've been building more and more kind of complex shapes, but everything we've done so far, more or less, has been based on that same progression, that same sequence of steps, right? And it's all based on the idea that you can take a two-dimensional profile and just make it fatter, right? Or make it taller, or extruding basically, which is just kind of like taking one shape and just moving it along one axis. So growing it in one axis. But as you know from real life, there's a whole bunch of shapes that don't easily fall into that category. And if you think about anything like a baseball bat or a bowl or a pot or a pan or I don't know, a planter's pot, anything that is based on a cylindrical kind of cross section, they don't always work so easily with just an extrusion. They might if it's a perfect circle, but there's a whole class of things that are made not by extruding just in one dimension, but instead by taking a shape and rotating it around a central axis of rotation, right? And so what this quick video is going to be about is just simply how do you take a two-dimensional contour, two-dimensional profile, and instead of just extruding in one dimension, how do you revolve it around that axis to create a three-dimensional solid? All right. So something like this, you can't really. It's not so easy to do it. I mean, you could do it maybe with like a workaround with some extrusions and some lofted. Anyway, we're not going to get into that yet. We're going to talk about revolving parts. Right. So I'm over here in SolidWorks, and I'm going to draw on the front plane, make a new sketch, and let's just say there's not going to be a lot of dimensioning here. I'm just going to start to make a shape. I'm just making a shape. Let's go up, over, let's go down, let's go over. Maybe we'll make it some kind of other things that look like this. I don't know. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll just end it right there. Okay. And then say I want to make, you know what, let's do this. Let's establish a long straight end line. All right. And now let's make a couple of weird shapes here. Let's make like a circle shape and let's trim part of it away. Have we played with splines at all? We haven't really played with splines too much. Okay, getting a little crazy here. Let me trim away part of it. Just get rid of that one. Um, let's see. I'm gonna do that. And let's cut it off right there. Trim away this last little piece here. Now, when I do that, you see I've created a two-dimensional profile. It's kind of a weird shape, right? Um, Now, if we were in the business of just extruding it, right? So like historically, we've just done like extrude boss base, and it would just make it like say I don't know, say like 20, so we can see it a little bit more. We've just been making a shape that looks like that, right? That's not the kind of shape we're talking about right now. Instead, what happens if we want to revolve it around a central axis? So if I click on this, it allows me to say what do I want to revolve it around? So it's got this whole thing, and if I click on this, you can see very quickly it takes my shape and it revolves it around that central axis that I just set. Now I can change this. I can make it instead of going 360 degrees around, I can make it go 120 around. So it's like just like a third of the way around, right? Something like that. Or I can make it go 180 degrees around. So it's like I don't know, a spoon of some kind. I don't know, some kind of weird scientific instrument. But if I want to make it go all the way around, I make it 360 degrees around. So it's a very straightforward way of creating a two-dimensional line, a two-dimensional profile, and just turning it into a three-dimensional solid just by rotating around a central axis. There's a huge variety of things that you can make with that simple technique. We used earlier, we did a revolved cut. Before I stop, we did a revolved cut. So this is a revolve base to turn a two-dimensional contour into a three-dimensional solid. I want to show you something though. You got to be a little bit careful. Sometimes it'll give you an error message. So say I don't want to do that. I don't want to rotate it around. I obviously drew the shape to perfectly rotate around that one line. But say I chose something different. Say I chose instead I wanted to do this one, right? It gives me a totally different shape just because I picked a different axis of rotation. Instead of picking that long black line to spin around that, I selected that one little tiny line right there and made everything spin around that. Now it might give you an error message. Let me just show you an example of something. Let me just show you something. Let's just get rid of all this, right? So instead, we're going to draw on the front plane, new axis here, new sketch. Where did everything go? Okay, there we go. Say I did some shape that looked like this. Let's say that's my starting point, and I go like this, and I go like I don't know if that's gonna work or not. What if I took that and did a revolve boss base? Now, if I try to revolve it around this one, does it work or does it not work? That works. Okay, cool. What if I tried to do it around this one? It can't do that, right? It can't do that because if it revolves around that one line, all of those contours, part of these gray parts here, they're gonna like run into each other. They're gonna overlap, and then it won't allow you to do it. So there's only a certain number of lines. There's only certain patterns of revolving where it will allow you to work, where it will allow it to work. And sometimes when you try to make it work, you might realize that you got some overlapping like three-dimensional solids that would be created if you rotated your 2D contour around that axis of rotation. So sometimes it's going to act in a way that you're not totally expecting, and so you need to think very carefully about what is the right axis, and are any of those the gray parts going to overlap if you rotated around that axis. So you might need to just be very careful about how you do it. But anyway, you can make some super cool shapes just by revolving a simple 2D line around an axis of rotation. So that is the Revolve Boss Base tool, and it's going to be useful for a number of things. Look how cool that is. It's a simple little shape, pretty darn cool. You're going to be using that on a number of assignments going forward, so get used to it. You can also do, if you take something you want to cut it out, you can use a revolved cut as well. Does a similar kind of thing, but instead of building up a shape, it cuts out a shape. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you will use it when you complete the next assignment, part number 9. All right, everybody, have a great day.